Hey, I've started listening to Edygyn's Wshngtn Blck. I think it's 2017 historical novel, uh, opening in Barbados, following George Wshngtn Blck, a slave on a plantation where the Richard Blck, the original owner, has died, and one of his relatives, Erasmus Blck, has taken over and is incredibly cruel. And indeed, slaves are, you know, are committing suicide rather than being, tortured to death. And he actually comes out and says, well, if you commit suicide, you can't get back to the old country. Your spirit can't get back to the old country because I'll behead any suicides. And that really kills. That really Big Kit, the woman who's kind of is near to a mother to Wshngtn Blck, Wash. Um, that just really, because like that was her plan. She's basically going to kill herself and Wash. And now they're trapped. They're trapped here. Um, uh, the Erasmus brother, Christopher, called Titch, arrives, and he's a scientist, and he is, I guess in this situation, the prototypical good white. He takes Wash on as a kind of assistant. Um, does treat him well. Does not use the N word. Um, you know, he's washed. He's basically kind of taken from the fields and made into a manservant, but is also being taught to read, which he kind of does grudgingly. But he displays a very amazing talent for being able to draw and to capture things from life, which he is doing. Christopher's Titch's goal is to make this hot air balloon, or I think it's a hot air balloon. Um, and indeed, he finally convinces his brother to get some more slaves so he can take it up to the highest point where they're going to raise it up. And there's still already a little talk here of, oh, it will be something that he's going to, if it works, you could cross the ocean with it, which is like, wow. Well, someone like Wash would be like getting back to Africa. Would be definitely the thought. Um, it's interesting. The narration is kind of told in kind of a whisper at the beginning, and it's got this short, sharp little kind of very short little sentences, like it's slaves who are using kind of a second language between them, and they're using it very hushed, so the owner won't overhear them, or stuff like that. And it's like you get that. And Big Kit, this is a woman who does have sort of all the old kind of ways of Africa, whereas Wash himself, he doesn't have any memories. He was either born there, or he was born on the passage coming over, and his mother died on the passage coming over. These are two stories he has of his life. It says, don't judge me, like, who amongst you does remember the details of your birth firsthand. You have to rely on the stories that you're told. um, at first it was a little jarring as that, but as it's going along, it's interesting. The language is slightly changing, and we're also getting more of the language of, this is an older Wash looking back upon this and getting to know. And in the final bits of this, we've been introduced to yet another brother, Richard, who just seems like kind of a bored gentleman, neither cruel nor kind, rather indifferent, who's a glutton and doesn't seem to really have much interest one way or the other. He's not a scientist, kind of fascinated, interesting stuff, but he's also not like savagely cruel like Erasmus. So that is the book so far. That is the book so far. So far, so good. Yeah, interesting. Edygn is lives in Victoria. Was born in Alberta, and now lives in Victoria with yeah, with all of us. I don't know where I was going with that. I was probably thinking about Lampedusa, written by I can't remember his name, but he is married to Edygn. I think they're married, or they're, you know, shacked up. Who knows? Who knows? They have 2 children, so maybe they're shacked up. Who knows? I'm not judging. I don't care if they're married or not. Just that was a little bit other bit of biographical information. I know not to expect some kind of a steampunk adventure. I think I remember people's reviews, and they were like, "Oh, it's got, like, you know, a hot air balloon on the front. It's going to be a daring adventure." It's like, no, I think this is going to be, in some ways, a slave narrative. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm open to the possibilities.